morning. Thank you again to Mr. Dagny for enabling us to have this inspiration this morning. Everyone in life has their story to tell. Everyone has their challenges and difficulties that they go through and how they grow from it. And we have an opportunity today to hear from someone, Shalom Rubashkin, who's definitely has a story to tell. Emunah, Bitachon, Hashgacha, Siyata Deshmaya, a story to tell that there's so much for us to gain and grow from. I'd like to thank Rabbi for coming. Please come and address us.
Okay, right. Shalom Aleichem, everybody. It's a big special to be here. I came through I live in Jackson, New Jersey, near Lakewood, and my story is like this. When I moved into this little place in Jackson, it was a very non-Jewish place. It seems like my life always start out something from new. And then pretty one morning at like 6:45 in the morning, he picks me up, we get into the car, and he turns around to me suddenly and tells me, how much were you worth before the raid? I don't know my story. My father started this business in a place called Postville, Iowa. Postville, Iowa is, you know where Iowa is? You know where Florida is? Okay. If you know what Chicago is, Florida, facing the map on the left side, there's more cows and chickens in Iowa than people. I mean, by far. But it's an agricultural country. My father sold the meat for it, but the supply of kosher meat was dwindling. And he started this little kosher operation there when I came. There were 70 people, and over time, Baruch Hashem, it moves into like 1,000 people. I wasn't the only guy there. I was the only guy at the end of the whole story. If you want, I wrote a book about this. I'm not going to go into all the details, otherwise I'll be a long time. I want to share a few stories about Emunah B'tachon, just to tell you where I was coming from and how the power of Torah mitzvahs really helps you to be happy and to get through it and to be zecher to a good yeshuva. So I came over there. I was done with family 5 children. Now the Avraham family grew to 10 children. I was there for 18 years, and the business grew. And then one day the government decided they didn't like us to the point where they came to smash it all up, and they made a raid. I don't know if you remember this type of thing. And today's a mitzvah to have sanctuary cities. By me was a big affair. They found a few illegal immigrants there. They didn't like it. They threw them into jail, and they started the whole thing. And I wound up with a federal case against me, with a state case against me. The state case I won. The federal case didn't go that way. And I wound up in jail with a sentence of 27 years. 27 years. If not for the miracle Hashem did for me, I'd still be in prison. So I'm very thankful to be here. This is 6th year. The day before I was freed, I got a letter from the court, and they said to me, your case is over. All the arguments you have is not there. We're rejecting everything, and you're staying in prison for another 18 years. 8 years in. I learned Shabbat a lot. Over and over, because when I got thrown in, I wanted to know, how does a Jew go through a challenge in life? A Yid has all the answers in Torah. So I picked up a Shabbat and I learned it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I never stopped learning it until I started understanding what he wanted, what the guidance. I'll share you a story or two in a second. And then the next day, even though I was told that I can't get freed, I knew that Hashem could do anything. And my job was to have B'tachon and Hashem to help me, and I did that. And Baruch Hashem, I was zecher. So when the next day, base Tavis, I was 6 minutes for Shkia. I was told, you're a free man, you can go home. President Trump, in the Chames of President Trump, which have a big win this time around also. Right. He should get back. I was told from him. The kids said he was a good shliach from Hashem. And I came out. I didn't. I'm gonna forget. You got foresight. I'm no horse from talking. So the bottom, not the bottom. So the point is, I stood there I came out with a tremendous course of Avraham, and instead of going back into business, I went to teach, and I didn't realize what kind of big effect the celebration everybody had, and I wind up until now teaching. I have an Al Bezgimel center. I give classes in Shabbatons, and I'm busy with that. So this factor asks me, so how much were you worth before the rate? Here I am priding myself. I can learn Baruch Hashem, and I'm one of the Tachon Mitamol. He said, how much? Back to the money. So I looked at him like, oh no, the guy is 7 o'clock in the morning. But he was waiting for an answer. So I said, before the raid, I was priceless. I was still priceless. He looks at me like, what are you talking about? I said, I have a neshama. I'm Jewish. And I'm one of the Kodesh Baruch Hu. I do Torah mitzvahs, I'm priceless. He goes, I said, you want to have a number? I said, yeah, I'll give you a number. I said, before the rate, the business was worth 300. The business was doing annually sales 325. Part of that is understanding, learning, and part of that is doing the mitzvahs that we have. We're in Florida here. We have to make Florida a place of Torah, a place of mitzvahs. The mission of being married, you can have your own house, and that's what it's all about. But so here I was. The reason I started with the story, here I was in a situation where I envisioned myself in life to go one way. Like, look, this week's parasha Vayikash. Yosef never envisioned himself to be a slave and in prison for 10 years. Yosef never envisioned himself to be a king on whole Mitzrayim, right? However Yosef was, he never thought back and said, how was Yosef able to forgive his brothers? Look at this week's parasha. He says, you didn't send me here. Hashem sent me here. That means he saw his whole struggle, his brother selling him, which is unconceivable. His brother selling him away as a slave. He languished in prison 12 years. I'm sure he was in the worst prison I was in. And I can tell you what the prison, a hotel compared to where he was in, and it was far from a hotel. And 12 years, right? Yosef never gave up understanding if Hashem put him there, that's where he had to be for the moment. And he had to see that not to change what he's going through the moment, and have the bitachon going forward that Hashem will save him. He did save him. So here's a few stories I want to share with you. I never envisioned myself being thrown to prison, and one day I found myself there. But I kept the emunah that what I just shared with you, that if I was there, I shouldn't change. But Hashem solidified these thoughts with me with a few experiences that I had right in the beginning. When I was first thrown into a prison, it was in South Dakota. Now, typically, they give a guy, even if the trial is guilty, they still give you a bail and you go home and you prepare for sentencing. But here, everything was done in a very, very wicked way, I should say. And as soon as they're guilty, boom, right into prison, which is not the typical way. They always have an excuse for why they do things. And I found myself that night, Thursday night, in the South Dakota prison. South Dakota, for sure, doesn't know a lot about Yiddishkeit. And here I was thrown into, I walked in there, I didn't walk in there, I'm sorry. They brought me in there with handcuffs and fincuffs, like a big, the criminal, and they schlepped me into this, and the whole prison is set up in a way that it's meant to knock you down. I was mentally fighting it to stay with the chazak, with the munah, with the chazak, strong, Hashem will help. And then the guard walks in and he comes with a whole pile of these prison clothes, they look like orange. I mean, clothes have a big effect on me. I was watching everything they were doing and wondering why they do it and try to defend myself, right, mentally. How do you get a person that's a free-thinking person, a person that's used to being doing what he wants and going where he wants and talking to what he wants, suddenly make him feel like a prisoner? He can't do all that. What's the first thing they do? Now, America's a good country. They don't whip you. They don't torture you. I mean, usually they don't. Sometimes they do. But the first thing they do is they change your clothes. I learned a big lesson here. They change your clothes. They make you put on clothes of a prisoner. And it's amazing. As a human being puts on clothes of a prisoner, he suddenly identifies himself as a prisoner and suddenly becomes submissive. He takes the role, if you will. The guard is there with his fancy clothes. He's a prisoner. Take it positively. We come Shabbos. First of all, every time we wear yarmulke and tzitzis, right? Yarmulke and tzitzis supposed to remind who we are. So though we should really affect our self-esteem as a Yid, we should be proud to be a Yid. And when it becomes Shabbos, and Hashem tells us to put on Shabbos clothes, understand what's going on. You can't say to yourself, big deal, I feel Shabbos. Clothes makes a big difference. And actually, when I was in prison for 8.5 years, I went through this thing, I made sure that somehow my Shabbos clothes should be a little different than the whole week actually. Because of this, not because of this, but I didn't, they don't let you wear regular clothes there. And if you they did let us have a kittel. Part of the things in America, in certain ways it's good. They let you have a 1,000 film and a kittel, and even a gattel they let you have. And here, so I had a kittel of my belongings. I got myself every Shabbos, I wore a kittel. I got a guy to make me a black hat, like instead of there's a gray sugar in the hat, I got a black hat. I try to make it feel Shabbos. I tell you something, it made a big difference. I put on a kittel, it was Rosh Hashanah for me every Shabbos. And I put my tablecloth on the table. The cell was like 6 feet wide, 8 feet long. You want to know? They wanted for me 27 years. They put me in a very high security place. I was with people that killed other people, like either in anger or in power fights or money. They killed people for money. There was a lot of very interesting people. And here's this little Jewish boy. They had the tremendous respect for me. I have so many stories here. I want to share with you a few limited stories. So getting back to the first night, the guy comes in. He tells me I put on a box. I got to take all my clothes off, put it in the box, and put on Purim clothes. Right? I had to make everything a little feilach. Put them every day. Orange clothes. Right? So I had no problem. I took my shirt. And what's under our shirts? Tzitzis. 1 second, I take my tzitzis off, I put it in the box. How do I get it back? Right? I want to hold it. So I say to the guard, my tzitzis I can keep. He says, no, everything in the box. So I say, everything in the box. I said, you're kidding. I'm a Jewish man, if you didn't notice, right? And Jewish people wear a yarmulke and tzitzis all the time. He looks at me, this dumb looks, I tell him, listen, let me explain. Look at the code of Jewish law. If you don't believe me, I'm not telling you any stories. I mean, you brought me here like this. Obviously, a Jewish man has to wear his yarmulke and tzitzis all the time. And it's so important. We're not allowed to walk 4 steps without it. I'm giving this whole explanation, like a one-on-one. And I'm sure at the end of my beautiful explanation, he'll say, sure. And I say to him, and if you take it, I know you can take it away from me because you're stronger than me, but if you take it away from me, I'm going to be stuck in one place. I won't be able to move. So I need to have it. I want to make it, I need it practically. What does Hashem do? Hashem, I was down. I was like, leave me my space, leave me alone. Just, I just wanted to get myself my own space to think. Hashem knew that if He gave me my own space at that moment, I'd be finished. A test is not made to break us. We go through life, we're tested, it's not made to break us, it's made to build us. Here, you got it. Hashem knew that if He just let me alone. So He gave me a fight. The guy looks me in the face. I'll never forget this moment. These moments you don't forget. He looks me in the face, a stocky, burly guy. He says, listen, buddy, we became very friendly. Listen, buddy, a lot of things are going to change for you tonight. He tells me what's going on. We're going to change you. And suddenly I woke up. I said, oh, so I'm not just in danger physically. They want to change me, and they want to take my Judaism away from me. My yarmulke, my tzitzis, that not. A Yid has within him an neshama. And then they woke up my neshama. This guy woke up my neshama. This guy was told he's threatening me, was really helping me. I looked at him, I soaked it in, and I thought to myself, that's not going to happen. And I actually suddenly felt a surge of energy. I was alive, and I said to him, I'm sorry, I'm not taking it off. And I got to tell you something, saying those words took a lot of inner strength because this whole place is made very, very much to make you feel vulnerable and down. And I got the inner strength, and that was the beginning of the whole thing where the guy said, I'm trying to change you, and I said, I'm not changing. Now, in Shai B'Tachon, I learned very interesting about B'Tachon. This is very important to know. Again, the way you can understand the Munah B'Tachon, there's a lot of different ways of understanding it, but the way you can understand, the easy way to understand the Munah B'Tachon is this way. If something happened to me already, I have to know that everything's by divine providence. Nothing happens by itself. Amunah. If it happened, it had to happen. We go back to Yosef. Yosef knew that whatever was happening to him was from Hashem. So he stayed focused on Hashem. He wasn't worried about his brothers felt about him. He was more concerned to remain connected to Hashem. So Shai B'Tachon, he says that one of the prerequisites of having B'Tachon is to try, and he uses the word try. I'm not being nice over here. He uses the start is good to try hard to do what Hashem wants you to do. That means turn mitzvahs, wherever you are. Why? Because the same way you want Hashem to do what you want, that means, okay, I got it. Hashem wanted me to go be in prison, but now I'm asking Hashem to get me out of prison. I don't want to be in prison. I want Hashem to change the Gezerah. I want Hashem to change the what's coming to me is painful. I want Hashem to change the pain. That means it could be innerly good, but it's a good I can't see. I want Hashem to give me a good I can see. So by me doing what Hashem wants me to do, Hashem is will do what I'm asking him to do. He used the word masking. So suddenly it became very important, and to me, it became very important to stay connected to Hashem. B'tachon is being connected to Hashem. B'tachon means you feel close to Hashem. Do what Hashem wants you to do. That's what b'tachon means. B'tachon means understanding that wherever you are, Hashem is with you. You're never alone, even in prison. There's a purpose you're going through. The purpose is painful. It's interfering. So daven to Hashem and trust Him to get you out of there. And that's what I did. So I held on to my yarmulke and tzitzis with a desire to do what Hashem wanted me to do, and not to say, okay, I'm in prison, I can't keep it anymore. And this is in life. I want to say something. If I can bring it back to average life, who I was born to, what friends I have, the situation I'm in economically, the situation I'm in mentally, what kind of talents I'm getting, everything about me is all by divine power to fulfill a purpose. If you understand it that way, suddenly it could be a little painful, but it's purposeful. And if it's purpose there, then you can get above it and you can find the good in it too. So here I was. It started the whole night. I'm not going to go through all the parts of the thing, but what happened was, quickly, he brought me in a different room, locks the door, the sergeant comes in. Who's the sergeant? The sergeant's not the guy with the 2 stripes on his shirt. Right? I can learn better than him, I'm a better person. He comes in, wants to know what's going on. I tell him, listen, your guy's trying to take away my tzitzis for me, I need help. He says he'll check with the rabbi. So I was sure any rabbi, because you have rabbis in North Dakota, South Dakota, whatever it is, maybe not Orthodox, but any rabbi, even a Reformed conservative rabbi, knows that Jews will have consensus. America gives religious freedom even to prisoners. I was sure in a matter of minutes, I'm going to get it back. He comes in 15 minutes later, the rabbi sends me a whole email, and he tells me, I rather realize it's on the wrong tone. He tells me, he reads me the email, this guard, and that he tells me, he notifies me I'm in prison as if I didn't know, and in prison, and your guards are your boss, and if they tell you to take off Yom Kippur, you have to listen to them, the rabbi's telling you. I was stunned. Because there's a second, I had like 3 tests that night. And it finishes off, you have to listen to it because it says in the Gemara, what does it say? Dina da machusa dina. It does say that. And you want to get me? Right in the beginning of this. He says that you have to listen to the laws of the land. You have to listen. So I said, yes, you know what that means? He says, no. I said, I'll tell you what it means. I'm a rabbi, I'll tell you what it means. It means you have to listen to the law of the land. I always listen to the law of the land. But that's the laws pertaining to our physical situation. How fast to drive on the highway, where to build and where not to build, which taxes you pay. All those things is dinner plus a dinner. When it comes to spiritual things like yarmulke, tzitzis, kosher, all those things have nothing to do with this. Yes, Rabbi, I'm right. I went to the whole, and I chapped over the idea. We have 2 parts. I actually told it to him. Said, Jew has a neshama, he has a body, he has a soul. The body part is in prison, but the soul part is not in prison. I gave him this whole speech for 8 minutes. He's not shaking his head, but he's listening. And when I finished, I asked him, please go ask the rabbi if I'm right over the room. He goes back to ask the rabbi, which is amazing over there. They don't give you a second shot. They gave me a second shot. He comes back and the rabbi told me I can keep one of them. Either my yarmulke or my tzitzis. This was like a nice till today, I don't know who the guy is. What was he doing in his house? 10 o'clock at night, he gets a call, there's a Jew in prison that wants to wear yarmulke and tzitzis. Say yes! What's wrong with you? Right? Anyway, but it seems like when his problem is his problem. Me, Hashem wanted to dig it in. I told him, listen, I'll make it easy for you. I'm not taking off my yarmulke and tzitzis. I need to have it. He got angry at me. He says, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to throw you into solitary confinement. They throw you into solitary confinement. It's called SHU, Special Housing Unit. I'm throwing to Special Housing Unit. And then you learn to listen. Because over there, they're not trying to tell you listen. So I said, listen, I don't want to go on the shoes or anything, but I am not taking yarmulke and tzitzis. I was already all charged up. What's he going to do? I'm not taking it up. Anyways, he leaves, and 5 guys give a pile into the room. And this, sometimes you have to be a little happy also. It's funny, it's sitting behind the thing. 5 guys move in, and they're all wearing riot gear. 5 against 1, not enough. Right, their helmets with a face mask, bats, shields, full armor. They piled in there. I started laughing at the conversation. Guys, we're not fighting. We're not fighting. Take it easy, calm down. All I need is my applicant sisters. Yeah, that's all. And we're friends. We're good. Anyway, they opened the door. They say, take it off. I said, I'm not taking it off. I can't. So they had me handcuffed. So they took it off. And they said, get up and move. I said, I told you, I'm stuck. I can't move without it. What are they going to do? I am not working on resistance. Anyway, this sergeant disappears. He comes back with a wheelchair. They pick me up, and I got a free ride all the way to the shul. And now they want to even embarrass me more. They're looking back because when I was in the fight, I really didn't feel any pain. I was in the fight. I was challenged. I should have woke me up actually. And suddenly I find myself, they're throwing the shul. Now they have a lot, America is a land of laws. They have a lot of laws. So now, on what pretense are putting me in the shul? I'm not sure. I don't want to walk. I'm not normal. So for my safety, they make sure I won't hang myself. So they put me up. They put on a thing called turtle clothes. It's like a turtle. It's hard material. Like put on a garbage can with two velcros on the side. So if you weren't thinking about taking your life before, maybe now you'll contemplate that for you. Anyway, they threw me in there like all the munition before the chet. I was like, I give birth with that turtle clothes, and that was it. And that was it. I'm stuck. I gotta tell you something. This is the hardest night I had. The reason I'm sharing this with you because I really saw, and on a serious note, I really saw. It was a painful night. It was the hardest night I had from the whole. Because I was hoping to win the trial. The next trial I did one, the state trial I did one, but this trial, and I wasn't going, and I was trying to keep my other princesses. And Hashem was almost, I felt like Hashem was like pushing me away. It was like talk about rejection, talk about event. I just felt, what's going on over here? Why can't I keep my, and I was, and so right away, we have a Yitzhak comes right away, gives you an idea that maybe Hashem doesn't like me anymore, but that's a lie. That's a lie, because Hashem does like us. Hashem does love us. Hashem is our Father, and we're His children. So I was struggling to try to put it together, and then finally I put it together like this. First of all, everything you see, you got to take a lesson from Torah. You can't make up your own ideas about your connection with Hashem. You can't make it up. You got to see what the state is saying. So I'll tell you a little short anecdote I had when I was at the beginning of the whole time. I lived a few years in Minnesota. Before we developed a whole around the plant to 1,000 people. We developed a small Jewish community also. So we had to have a yeshiva, had a Mesivta, 30, 40 boys, yeah. And we had a girls' school, a boys' school, we had a shul, we had a mikveh for men, mikveh for women. We had a library, we had over 100 families were living there already, by the time the raid happened. So, but the first year or two, I lived 3 years, I lived in Minnesota and I drove every day from Minnesota down to Postal. It was like a 3-hour drive. One Erev Kippur, I was challenged with a problem, how do I get back home on time? So one of the workers there gave me an idea. There's a farmer next door. He has a small, one of his single-engine planes, he'll fly me. I lived in the office right next to the airport, so it worked out very well. I got into this tiny little plane. For the first time in my life, I'm sitting next to a pilot. I'm watching him make his preparations, and this and that, talking in this microphone to somebody. I'm sitting watching. And I figured, this is a perfect chance. For the next hour, I can trade the guy a cup and ask him questions about pilots. How do they get from point A to point B? I didn't know what they're doing. And he's showing maps and stuff. One of the dials there was, I learned a lesson of life, and I want to share this with you. One of the dials there was like a bubble. Most dials are flat glass, right? There was a bubble, and in the bubble there was a little plane. And the top was like, I don't know the color, blue. The top was the sky, the bottom was the ground. And I noticed that as this little plane is going higher, this little plane is pointing up. And as the plane goes lower, the little plane is pointing down. So I asked him, Keith, what's this thing over here? So he says to me, this is a very, very important gauge. Very important. I said, yeah, why is it so important? What does it tell you? So he says to me, I expect him to tell me something really sophisticated. Instead it tells me if I'm flying up or if I'm flying down. So I started laughing. He says, he got insulted, so he laughing. I said, look out the window. What are you, a little baby? Look out the window. This up and that's down. You have to look over here. Yeah, very serious and stuff like this. Remember there's a basketball player. What was the guy's name? Kobe somebody, yeah? Remember? Right. Everybody knows his name. Shalom. Kobe Bryant, Shalom, I use his name a lot, so he died in the helicopter crash in California. Now that crash happened because the pilot was flying in bed with him. There's a fact, and this little gauge was supposed to tell the pilot what's up and what's down, because he tells me when you're flying in good weather, you can see what's up and what's down. If you're flying in rough weather, as you're flying, and I did experience this over the next 18 years, you're flying, and there's a big black cloud in front of you, and you go right into it. Lights out, gets dark, very fast. But not only it gets dark, how does the pilot know how to go up or down? So you'll say, what your feelings, you're going to go up and down. No, because Hashem made a person in such a situation, what he thinks is up is really down. Right? It's like an amazing concept. So the pilot, if he didn't have this gauge to give gas, he thinks he's flying up, he's really zooming down. And that's what happened to the pilot of Kobe. Kobe had a gauge. But he decided, I can feel it, I got it, I've experienced, I know how this feels like, I'll go up. He was really going down. There was a mountain there, and he smashed right into the mountain. That's what happened. And the pilot tells me that in the plane, if you zoom in, you think you're zooming up, and you're really zooming down. By the time you break out of the cloud, you realize you may not have enough time to lift back up. What's the point? I'm not a pilot. But he tells me, he finishes off this whole spiel over there. He tells me, in such a situation, you have to look at the gauge and follow it. And if you follow it, you'll get out of there alive. And if not, you're going to kill yourself. And that's why it's important. I'm not a pilot. I don't really care what the pilots are. But to me, it made everything a Jew sees in the years or something says, everything a Jew sees in the years is by divine providence. Why did I hear the whole story? Because we have a Torah. We have a Torah. The Torah is our guide. If you want to know what life is about, Hashem gave us everything you have to know in Torah. Everything is in there. So if we go through life, we hit a dark cloud. So what do you do? What does a Jew do when he has a tzara? Open Rosh Hashanah and we'll tell you. That's what you got to do. So if you're going to rely on your own feelings, you may think you're pulling out of your problem. Really, you really could be swimming down and make your problem even worse. But if I'm following what it says in Shabbat, and even if I don't feel like I'm flying up, I'm flying up because in Shabbat I'm flying the right way, and I flew out the right way. That's exactly what happened. So here I was in this dark cell, and I was trying to figure out, this was a dark cloud I was in. I was thinking to myself, do I take my Yom Kitzitz off and walk out? Do I give up? Do I call a lawyer tomorrow? And I realized, no, this is a test. This is a test. Hashem is testing me. If I'm going to change and give in to this and stop wearing my Yom Kitzitz, I can tell you something. If I would have opted to take my Yom Kitzitz off, God forbid, I wouldn't be in there. Because that's how the Yitzhak gets you. The first step down, and then you never go back up. That's what would have happened. I said, no, I'm going to do what Hashem wants me to do. I am a Jew. I never walk with my Yom Kitzitz. I'm not walking with it. If I have to be a year, a day, a month, that's not my business. I am going to stay connected to Hashem. A mitzvah means connection. I'm going to do what it says in Shabbat, do what Hashem wants. I'm staying connected, and it'll be good. I fell asleep. It was impossible to sleep that night. It was an hour or two. I fell asleep. In the morning, they sent in, little door opens up. The guy looks inside with the round glasses, and they actually sent a psychiatrist to find out if I'm normal or not. He gave me, I got a test that morning. I got a psychiatric evaluation, and he starts asking me questions, and I realized he's a psychiatrist. And in the middle of the thing, he tells me, hey, what are you doing here? He realized I'm a normal guy. He says, you don't belong here. I said, of course I don't belong here. They said I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm a Jewish guy. I need me Yom Kitzitz. Give me Yom Kitzitz. He'll say I can walk. I passed the test. He said, I got 100. He left, and 20 minutes later, I got back to Yom Kitzitz. And this is my point I want to tell you. When I got back to Yom Kitzitz, it wasn't a feeling of I'm stronger, I'm better. I just felt connected to Hashem. I just felt that I was telling Hashem, I want to be connected to you. I want to wear my Yom Kitzitz. Hashem said, you wanted that, so you want it, I see you want it. Here, take it back. And that was the beginning of 8 long years. I didn't know how long it would take, but at the end of the whole thing, I lived with this idea. There was a lot of challenges I had with kosher food and different situations that I was in that I actually saw time and time again how when I tried, I'll give you an example of kosher food. One of the biggest problems they have in prison, they make you come to eat in a big, they get 27 years, they wanted me to be in a very, very secure place. So I was with a lot of murderers, right? And I realized that if I live with my neshama, I'm not really in prison. That's I always said I'm in a place called prison. So if I get into the prison scene, I'll feel totally in prison. But I always had the question, well, the guys would bully me, what's going to happen there? So I trusted Hashem to protect me. Not only that I never got beat up by anybody, kind of prisoners, they actually had tremendous respect for me. There's a few times that I had this close call, so I didn't realize what prison's like. And I started listening to how they're looking at me, and I realized the whole different thing. There's a guy there, a white-haired guy. I hate to say names, he could be still alive. I don't think so. But an older guy, he kept, hey, Rabbi, pray for me. Pray for you. I didn't know what he was. I found out later this guy was a hitman. He killed people for money. I mean, you can't get more mushkas. Can I say mushkas in English? I know. You can't get more. Corrupt. Killing somebody in anger is bad enough. You kill somebody for money. Anyways, but they both. I didn't know choosy friends over there. This guy used to come. He had no money, so he used to come for me almost daily and ask me for something. He needed a stamp, some cookies, whatever. I would chat a little bit. They told me stories about Al Capone. It was interesting. Long story short, one day I'm sitting in the computer room and I'm typing an email. It was a hot day, and it's like a year in, and I mean there's no air conditioning in the building. The part of the paint, the picture of the prison, there's no air conditioning. You take life for granted. It was a New York summer day, humid, and I wanted to cool off, so I figured I'd get some ice. I ran downstairs. This was on the 4th level. I ran downstairs. There was an ice machine that kept on making ice automatically. So the people are waiting online, 10, 15 guys are waiting online, and they're waiting for the ice machine to make ice. They grab a cup and move on. Because they depleted the whole stack that was there. At the end of the line, and I didn't want to wait online, because if I wait online, I'll miss. It was like 3:15, 3:30, everything shuts down over there for the afternoon, and I didn't want to wait online. So I see this hitman guy standing at the end. So I walk over to him, and he's chatting with a few guys. I didn't put it together really properly because I was not. So I walk over to the guy. I thought I was in yeshiva or something like that, you know. I walk over and say, hey, you're waiting for ice? He says, yeah. I'm holding a cup. I said, do me a favor. I'm upstairs. I'm typing an email, very important. I shut down for a few minutes. It's very hot. Do me a favor. Give me some ice. He gives me this look. His face got contorted. I'm murderer. He got contorted. His murderous look at me and says to me, no. I was about to give him a hard time and say to him, one second. Every night you come to ask me for things that cost money. I give him a tie in the back. And you hear me asking you to do a favor, you can't do it, what's wrong with you? Then I said, Mr. Shalom, listen, this is prison, it's not yeshiva over here. Just back off. And Baruch Hashem, they gave me the right idea. He said, okay, forget about it. I'm sorry, I even asked you. I realized something was wrong. I said something, I didn't know what it was. My mom couldn't understand. I didn't know better than money. What's it? Anyway, that night he comes to me. And I was staying looking at the whole scene. I was taking it in. It was a wild scene over there. So he walks over and says to me, you know, Rubashkin? I turn around. He's angry, and he wants to fight. He's ready for a fight. I'm not sure somebody. I said to him, he said, you know, you disrespected me today. I disrespected you. Like one of those things. Where I disrespect you? I don't disrespect anybody. So he told me, yeah. I was waiting at the end of the line for ice with my men. And not only was he a killer, he was also a gang leader. I saw him talk with some guys, I didn't realize his men. And I said, I got some lots of it. And in front of my men, you asked me to get your ice. What am I, your messenger boy? Let's go. I was about to give him an argument back, and then I said, listen, I'm sorry. I think the best thing is I keep it. Sometimes after this, I bow under the weight. I said, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I didn't realize such a chayera, but I said, I didn't realize where I was. I'm sorry, I'll never ask you if I ice again. Don't worry about it, calm down, take it easy. And I'm waiting for the punch. That's what's really weird. I was waiting for what's going to happen here. And he's thinking, and suddenly he sees, he loosens up, and he makes me look with the hand. Rabbi, he tells me, I watch you. You're this. This was a spot where I used to daven a lot. Sitting at your praying, walking around with your books up and down the stairs. You're learning, you're praying. You're not even here, he tells me. You're not even there. Forget about it. And he left. So this idea that you could be somewhere, a person is not where he physically is. We are where we want to be. When we want to be connected to Hashem, we do Torah mitzvahs. So when you're going through life and you realize the purpose, Yosef was a king on Mitzrayim. Remember that. A king is above everybody. He was never a slave. And the way he achieved that was specifically to connect to Hashem. Now, before Matan Torah, he had to do it his way. We have Torah today. We have to learn Torah, do mitzvahs, and precisely that's the way. You raise yourself up above. I was sitting in the I saw it a few times, and I realized I was sitting once in the computer room, and I used to type a lot of the Torah for my family to make sure everybody knows I'm happy. And two guys walked in. I remember the names also. One guy's name was Ice. He's a stocky guy from the Bronx. His name was Ice. He must have been a very warm-hearted fellow. This guy was Ice. Who knows what he did before? I don't know exactly. Maybe it was but another point. And then his sidekick, his name was Flacco. And these two clowns walk in, and they sit down next to me. They open up an email. They got some emails for some person, and they started this conversation about dating. And I'm the yeshiva guy. I'm sitting over there. These guys start talking. Gott in Teile, how am I sitting next to this stool over here? I can't tell them to be quiet because they'll punch me, right? So I thought I'll hint to them. I put my fingers in my ear. I still didn't get it. I put my fingers in my ear. I thought that maybe they'll see it as a quiet zone over here. We don't talk over here, right? This is like a library. These guys over here. Anyway, that doesn't work. I'm sitting like this. I'm trying to type. It doesn't work together. So finally I got angry, and I decided I'm going to tell them to be quiet and run. So I put my feet in my slippers, and I turned around to them. I want to say it in a clever way. I say to them, listen guys, and I'm too young for this conversation, you understand? Please be quiet. So I expected them to leave a barrage of Liverpool. If you don't like it, you get out of here. If I shut the computer down, I gotta wait a half an hour to get back on. There's a line. There's 6 computers, 120 people. So I didn't want to shut my computer down. And these guys are talking goes through. So I nicely told them to please be quiet. And then we're ready to run. What am I gonna do? And instead, they said, Rabbi, we didn't know we're bothering you. I says to me, he shuts the computer down and he leaves. I sat there for 5 minutes. I'm out the box. I was like, first of all, I'm not getting beaten up. It's good to calm down. But the Iker, I couldn't believe it. Look at this. In jail's a place, they don't give you no leave, ain't nothing. They right away for a fight. And mitamol, they're shutting the computer down, they're walking out. I just realized then that because I saw myself as a Yid, and I acted like a Yid, I lived like it, I davened that corner. I learned, I davened. These rough guys that knew how to only settle things by a fight saw me for what I am, and Hashem put into the world. We are hidden, we're hiding in Teva, we're hiding all things, and that's precisely the way you're going to get respect from them. And one more similar story. 2 days before I was freed, Monday night there was a guy there, and he looked like a scary guy. Some guys looked at him normal, this guy was a scary looking guy. And had a little interaction with him for some stuff, and he knocks on my door and says, hey, Rabbi, I want to talk to you. He says, come in. Come in. It's a little hole in the wall. He says, no, you come out. I got very suspicious, but I said, won't. I don't know, I take a chance, and I walk out, he follows down the stairs, and he turns around to me and tells me, I just want to tell you something. I want to share some feeling. What is it? He said, if I met you on the street, outside, if you're walking down the street and I see you, you see me, we'll pass each other, we wouldn't even talk to each other. I'm thinking to myself, really? If I saw you on the street, I would talk to you on the side of the street. Of course I didn't say it to him, but I was thinking, but look at it, where's he going with this? I don't know why he's there. But he says, now I got to know you, I thank God I met a man like you. And then he proceeds telling me what he did and what he didn't do. He had a very colorful life, this guy. My point, my friends have a point when we learn Torah, we have to know up is up when it says Torah is up. If Torah says up, it's up. If somebody says, if the Torah says it's down, it's down. You can't say for a momentary benefit, what are you talking about? I feel good with this. If Torah says this is damaging to you, you can know that Hashem don't do it because forget. Then Torah tells you no. Daven before you go to work or do everything. As a Yid, you'll see you go up, and I'll finish with this one more story that we're done. I live every day, obviously, and I had a lot of down. A lot of times it looked more than terrible. It was denied. In 8 years, we found we found evidence that Mamish, they had been two constitutional violations. One was religious thought, why it's important to learn. And there's a big writer in Mishpacha magazine called Shuli Besser. You know, Shuli Besser, he was very much involved in my story, a really fine dude. And he once asked me to write a story, how do I envision my freedom to come? So I wrote him on Pesach, I wrote him a whole thing. I'm sure Hashem's going to free me when I get freedom to myself. I'll think about this. I'll walk past here, I'll think about that. I gave a little bit of a 1-2 page little article about that. And I really live with that. Up, Amuna, I woke up every morning, not depressed, not thinking, I could have been somewhere else. If I woke up in prison, it's a Hashem talking. If a day Hashem never wakes up in the morning thinking he could have been somewhere else. If I'm here, take this in real life. Yeah, you're going through a difficult thing in life. Don't imagine yourself you could have lived without that problem. Because if Hashem gave you that child, it's not a problem. Obviously, it's a challenge Hashem gives you a strength to overcome. So take it that way. Don't get depressed, don't get angry, don't try getting with anybody. Find what Hashem wants you from this, do it, and then you'll see it finishes. That's how it finishes. So, I always wondered, what's going to happen when I get the good news that I'm free? I'm going to lose that surprise element, won't I? If I'm expecting to be free, so I accepted what happened until now. But my tachon is, I wake up today in the morning, I'm going to daven, Hashem is going to free me. Why is today any different than any other day? Right? Hashem free me today also. That's I went constantly past, present, and future. And the day finished, and it didn't happen yet, I realized I had the wrong day, but Hashem surely will free me. Hashem says, talking to me, Hashem help me. And the day came, I was freed. So, my question on my mind was, when I do get the good news and I'm freed, I'm going to be cheated from the surprise. Right? Wow. Right? I want to tell you something. I had a wow, but I had a different type of wow. What do you say when you get surprised? I was brought, this guy kicked me out of the room. I carried a film. They brought me into a room and told me the good news. President Trump just signed a piece of paper a few minutes ago to leave. And this top warden lady, an assistant warden was there. I told them it's a real miracle, it's Hanukkah. And I was thinking to myself, look at this. Yesterday I got a letter from the court, and they said to me, you're stuck here for another 18 years. I mentioned that, right? The day before I was freed, I got a letter from the court. Your case is closed. You can never get out of here until the end of 27 years, which is 18 years more. I refused to believe it. I trusted only Hashem. And the next day, Hashem freed me. It was Aleph Tevis, Amuna. I always lived with Aleph Beis Gimel. Amuna, Aleph Tevis, I got the news that they think I'm stuck here. Beis Tevis, Hashem said, get out. And here I am. So I was like, really? And I said to them, wow, Hashem, you did it. You did it. I felt so close. That wow that I had wasn't, what does a person say when he is surprised? You won the lottery ticket, yeah, $1 billion, and wow, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Hashem, thank you. I can't believe it. Why don't you believe it? Because you weren't prepared for it. So you see, Hashem is giving you a big present. You're even thanking Him, but tomorrow you'll be the same person you were the day before. That's the problem. Because you never prepared yourself, you never learned, you never understood what it means Hashem doing everything. So what do you say? Wow, I'm so surprised. Hashem Mamish likes me, He gave me a big present. I don't believe it. And that's why the next day maybe you won't lose the money or the good fortune you had properly. Versus, I also had a wow. But my wow was, wow Hashem, you did it. I waited 8.5 years, I trusted you, and you did free me. So that feeling lasts till today. That's what I want to tell you. I can come and walk around. I came over here to speak my good friend Rabbi over here, and the one is okay. I can because to me, reliving all these stories of darkness, the story of light, the story of we're talking is alive, understand? And that's what you get when you learn. You have to open the Shara B'tachon, learn what it means, Amunah, learn what it means B'tachon, get closer to Hashem, to Torah mitzvahs, and you'll see, you'll also have a wow in your life, it'll be a wow connected with Hashem. L'chaim.